Hello, adventurers, and welcome back to the Legend of Kelamentura recap series. Today we are recapping session 58. I know in the introduction last time I kind of said there was 56, 57, and 58, but there was 56, 57, and a sort of mini session that was with Bartholomew's player. So that's kind of where I got the confusion. So apologies for interrupting the continuity. But last session was definitely session 58. And what happened in that session? Well, first of all, we were down a few players. Bartholomew couldn't join us, and Ariadne was out of action as well. So we were down to three. Then Lowe joined us a little bit into the session, but no harm there. So we kicked things off with a few of the party members waking up a wee bit later than usual after the stressful events of the prior day, which was, Bjorn going to Steelborough and learning about his past with the help of Duchess, rather getting the lead on Brother Abel's location. Bartholomew having gone off and been having been abducted as part of a sort of induction hazing training ritual, which was clearly not sanctioned by Wilder. And Dh'Nesko had been off enjoying the dairy delights of Jonathan Cheesesmith. But the party had reconvened in the morning. First thing, over breakfast, the breakfast was politely interrupted by the solicitor, lawyer, whatever term you prefer. Could be US or UK, because there's no fucking difference in Kelamentura. One Master McCourt, who informed Duchess that he had received all the evidence he needed to reverse her death certificate and put it in, and was to be expedited on the instructions of Miss Wilder, and there should be a decision, or reversal, rather, within the next 48 hours. After that, I had a bit of a conversation of the two of them all, and they all went about their own business. Now, Bjorn decided to go off, and he decided he wanted to go off and sort of leave tribute, or sort of in slight reference, slight memoriam of his friend, memoriam/tribute to Achilles, who was a worshipper of Artur. Bjorn decided he wanted to go off and also pay his respects to Artur in the form of sort of a public prank. So he went off and scouted out the temple in the center of Mentura, to find out roof access, so we figured out there's an 8-story building. There's roof access, gets you up to like the 7th floor, and there's an external walkway that brings you to the top. A couple of guard patrols, found a service entrance on the inside, and that plan is in progress. And while he was doing that, Duchess and Dh'Nesko headed off in search of some new getup, new digs, new armour. So they wandered off and found their way to Winston's Wondrous Wares, which the shop previously had been 2 stories, now it was 3, and the top story was being manned and stocked at the directions of a very eccentric halfling fellow whose name I've already forgotten. This is what happens when you don't write your NPCs' names down. I'm sure my party will tell me. But, Glenn, was it? Anyway, very eccentric individual who was taking great, rather, he was bossing around his employees, Tabitha and Angus. These two poor individuals who were setting up various suits of armor and shields and all manner of defensive equipment on mannequins. At the approach of Duchess and Dh'Nesko, he turned and addressed them, and Duchess traded in the armor, well, not the armor that she was wearing. She went in search of something with a bit more protective nature, and she was able to acquire a set of full plate mithril armor, which is incredibly highly polished and very bright, very knight in shining armor vibes. And Dh'Nesko traded in his first watch suit of flying armor for a sort of unique set of scorpion armor, which is actually like item that exists. It is cursed. This one was not cursed. But as part of the trade, he says Dh'Nesko will part trade in their existing armor for that. Dh'Nesko also promised to tell the this armorer slash enchanter, how to perform how to add enchantments. For example, when he had in the lead up to the fight against Ardiat, he had managed to acquire a blood sample from every type of chromatic dragon: red, white, blue, green, and black. And with those, he'd been able to apply a sort of a draconic enchantment, a sort of a damage resistance enchantment to his own armor. Told the enchanter how to do that. I think there's a few other bits and pieces as well. So in exchange for information, which this guy was very keen to learn, because he can then take that enchantment and apply it to his own wares and sell it, the party acquired some nice shiny bits of armor. And after being re-armored, the three of them left word with the rest of the party and decided to go take a look in the ancient city of Duath, which is a problem that has been lingering since, the very, very early days of the campaign. I don't even know what session that was. Why about like session 10 when they first got to Duath, or Mentura? Way back to the days of when we had Lorilla, the druid, the Furbolg druid. Oh god, she had visions of a terrible evil beneath the city, and well, the party's now finally going to go take care of that 50 sessions later. Or something along those lines, I can't remember exactly. But, nevertheless, they tootled on, following the directions of Wilder, headed north out of the city and then east along the Spine Mountains to the entrance of the trolley station, where they investigated around, and through Duchess's very high perception was able to spot passages in the dust leading to some sort of waiting room or office type space. Difficult to tell. It was a square stone room with some broken wood furniture. Not really sure what was there. But after being joined by Sir Lowe, the party was able to find a hidden illusory wall, sort of a 5-foot section of the wall that was illusory, which led to a sort of 5 feet wide by 15-foot long, newly carved chamber, at the end of which was a door. The party approached that, inspected it, and after some playing around, they realized that in the center of this door, about chest height, there was a smooth, circular portion of the wall which was cooler to the touch, some sort of metallic material, as opposed to the stone that surrounded it. And through some quite good perception rolls, they were able to figure out that the teardrop ruby pendant medallions that they have been collecting from the members of the Defiant, these rubies are required as keys to open the door. So they took a ruby pendant. Lowe, first of all, tried to do shape water, shape it, then freeze it, which gave them there's a ruby shape here, but the ice didn't quite work. He tried to use the ice ruby, which shattered. But upon searching their belongings, searching their inventories, they found a few of them, put one in, which opened an iris, which revealed a riddle in deep speech, which Dh'Nesko was fucking thrilled about because he finally gets a chance to use his deep speech, which is like a sort of word recognition more than voice recognition, requiring whoever puts you're in possession of a ruby, and you then speak the names of the Vanrar or Scourge Pantheon, which is the door that opened, revealing a chamber beyond, or a tunnel beyond, rather, which the party traversed down, with Lowe going first to scout the way, and descending a good 15 or 20 minutes, if not longer, they happened upon a teardrop-shaped chamber. They kind of came in at the narrow point of the teardrop, and at the far end, in the the drop part of the teardrop, there were 3 exits to the chamber. With the judicious use of Mage Hand and Aiel, the party was able to insert the ruby into a pedestal in the center of this chamber, which had a brass disc on top, and figured out there was this pedestal. The disc on top could be rotated to the left and to the right. Rotating it to the left revealed some sort of a riddle or a question. Rotating it to the right revealed the answers. Aiel was able to Aiel they're able to make out the riddle, which was basically asking them to what do you call, what's the name of the beholder that lives in what's the name of the guy who you're looking for, the head honcho who lives in Duath, which was, of course, Okata the Plotter. Entering the chamber, they realized that they actually had to be in the chamber, check the questions, and then reveal the answers, which are stone tablets on the wall. Press the answer, which mechanically clicked, and they were able to go down the safe passageway, because they'd gone and used fine traps and various other perception detective techniques to establish two of the passageways were trapped, one of them was safe. And after clearly selecting the right answer, they were able to carry on. Further on down, before coming across another chamber, which was hexagonal in shape, with another 5 exits off of it. Lowe went ahead and inspected the first chamber, which is some sort of a storeroom, and there was a desk with a chest on the top of the desk. His perception check was just high enough, literally by 1, to spot the glyph of warding that had been placed underneath the chest. I was able to determine that the glyph of warding was to be activated when the chest was moved, not opened. Opened it, found a few scrap pieces of spare change, effectively, but nothing else in that chamber. Leaving that, Bjorn and Duchess, meanwhile, had a look in the second exit, which looked like it might be promising, as it headed on down and kind of curved to the right before ending a ways off in some sort of a collapse. The two of them, but they were able to, Duchess with Bjorn's assistance, was able to see that part of the floor was illusory in here. One of the Bjorn was able to spot one of the stones. The steps didn't look quite right. There was something a little bit off about where the steps lined up, which made, they were able to then figure out, that's a illusory, it's a fake floor. And if you were walking down here and didn't realize, you would just straight through this and fall, do something. Unsure of quite how far the drop was or what was down there. Duchess ended up kicking a stone through the floor, which they watched it disappear and fall into the nothing. And it fell for quite some time, a good, unsure of exactly how long it fell, but it fell for some time before plopping down into some massive body of water. But, oh, that's fun. Turned to walk away, and Duchess, with a very high passive perception, as they kind of turned to walk back up to the central chamber, heard a creature breaking water, and some sort of baleful whale call type noise from the chamber below. Realizing that they had voided something fucking massive and terrifying, they went nope, and back up to the chamber, with the intention of going on and inspecting the third stairway. However, Duchess was maybe a little bit perturbed, distracted by this almost encounter with God knows what, because she rolled a nat 1 on her perception check for the third hallway, which in my game a nat 1 is, there's always consequences to a nat 1, especially in a perception check, which led to her kind of walking 5-10 feet down the staircase and going, yeah, guys, this is fine. Click. And activated, the trap in what turned out to be the safe passage. But her activating this trap turned these stone stairs into a stone slide, and she began to descend rapidly. Bjorn decided to jump after her in some sort of way to try and save her or stop her. Decided to throw out the grappling hook that was attached to his rifle with the grappling, the Lee's heavy grapple shot, which he's had to use, but decided to throw that out. It was okay if I can grab her, maybe the party can grab the rope and whatever. But dived down, managed to grab Duchess and was like, okay, I have you now, what the fuck do I do? And sort of sliding down, realized that they're heading down to what looked like, as they've been descending through the previous tunnels, there have been what looks like little like rest chambers, like little like this would be stone, like either natural or hewn places where there's like some tables and chairs and some shelves with some bits and pieces on them, like rest stops or little supply depots. I headed towards one of those chambers and thought, oh, this might be the right way to go then. As this saw the spike trap that had been levered out of the floor like a phalanx of a charging horse. Bjorn and Duchess went, shit. Boom! Just slammed into that. Each of them taking, I think, around 10 or 11 points of damage. Not a huge amount, but they succeeded on their saving throws. After landing at the bottom and collecting themselves as best they can with their dignity well and truly lost, shouted up, they kind of took a look around and realized that, there's nothing, that was, whatever was there was there. But the chamber they're in seems to be the right way to go. So, intent to follow the passageway on down. They call back up to the rest of the party to follow. Thankfully, Lowe did not roll in one, but his passive perception, with that alert, his passive perception was passiving, and he was able to see or spot the step that was trapped, bypassed it, and the party reconvened, willing to head on further down into the earth for God knows how much longer. Well, for them, God knows how much longer. I know how much longer it is, but I'm not going to say. I'm going to wait and let them suffer. Did I say suffer? Maybe I meant it. But anyway, that is session 58. And session 59 is going to be a while. I'm a busy month coming up. But I look forward to run session 59 with the party when I get to it. But, as always, adventurers, thank you very much for sitting with me and listening to my ramblings. I hope you all have a very good month. I hope you enjoy yourselves, stay safe, stay happy, and till next time, adventurers, see ya.